Hey guys, Mr. Waltz here. I'm going to show you how to do the selfie stick assembly. First thing to do, go to your data panel. In ID period 4, spring 2022, go to assignments. You're going to see selfie stick. Right click, copy, then copy it to ID period 4, spring 2022, students, and your personal folder. And you don't need to make a subfolder in your personal folder. You can if you want. It's just going to be one file for this, so it's pretty simple. Then what I'm going to do is navigate to that folder, my personal folder. So I click ID period 4, students, and then my personal folder. Scroll down, there it is, selfie stick. I'm going to open it. First thing to do is I'm going to hide some items. So it's going to be easier to do this if I hide the phone holder. So I click the eyeball on those two. I'm going to close my data tab. And right now, everything in here is free. Like if I click this, it can move. We need to ground one component. It's kind of like trying to work on something on a workbench. You're trying to screw one thing onto another. Well, if you don't screw down or clamp down one of the things or hold on to it, it's going to move away while you try to screw them together. So we're going to take the stick bottom, which is right here. You can find it in the browser here, stick bottom. Right click on it, and we're going to choose ground. And you'll see a little thumbtack icon appears. And the way you know that it's grounded is if you drag on it and it doesn't move. So that's good. Everything else you want to be free to move, though. That's how we want it. Okay, cool. So now we're going to do our first assembly here. So we're going to use the joint tool. It's right up here under assemble. And we can click the joint button, and then over here in the joint interface, we're going to change it to motion. We're going to choose a slider joint because we want the one piece to slide in and out of the other piece. Then we go back to position, and we need to click two joint origins. The first one I want to do is on this piece, that circle right there. And the second one I'm going to click on is the hole right here. And you can see it puts it so those two are lined up and one is inside the other. And then I'm going to click OK. So that's my first joint. Whenever I make a joint, I test it. The way I test it is click and drag. Make sure it moves the way you want. Now, one downside of this is if I pull this, I can actually pull this all the way out. And if I push it through, I can push it out the back of the stick bottom. So it's like, it's not very realistic, right? So the way you make it behave realistically is you apply joint limits, okay? The way you do that is you got to find the joint. So the joint is shown. There's a little icon here, right where my mouse is. That's the joint. There's also an icon on the timeline, slider 5. You could do it there too. I'm going to click here in the view, right click. I'm going to go to home position first. So it goes back to where it was. Then I'm going to right click on it again and choose edit joint limits. I'm going to go to my right view because it's going to be easier to see what's going on. And I'm going to click minimum and maximum. I'm actually going to rotate that slightly there. That's pretty good. So minimum and maximum here. And so we're going to set a minimum and maximum limit. We don't want it to pull all the way out. We don't want it to go all the way back in. The minimum right now is 0. The maximum, let's try something. Let's try 12. Okay. So right now it's showing the minimum and the maximum. I'm going to hit animate. And you can see it's going the wrong way, guys. So that's no good. So what it means is to go the way we want, we got to use negative numbers. All right. So I really want my minimum to be minus 12. See how this works. Minus 12, maximum is 12. Oops, goes too far. Maximum of 0, let's try that. So there's minus 12 and there's 0. And that's actually the motion we want, okay? And then I'm just going to hit Okay. Then I want to test it. Like I said, I always test it, grab it, drag it, make sure it won't come all the way out. You can see as it comes out, it'll stop. It won't go any further. And then when I push it back in, it'll stop. So that gives it a realistic motion. And then I'm just going to push it all the way back in.